Good morning, Franklin County High School Eagle athletes and parents. Welcome back to the school year and welcome back to what we're hoping for is an exciting athletic year. This year, because of the COVID-19, we've gone to an online format for our meetings. So I wanted to put something out there for you guys to be working on. It's a little bit of homework before our first season starts on December 7th. My job here is to go over some of the rules of the VHSL and some of our general rules as being an athlete for Franklin County High School. There's some very important eligibility information on the video and PowerPoint, and athletes and students. The bottom line is when you sign the Google form saying that you have read the PowerPoint and you have listened to the video and you are aware of the rules and the expectations from the athletic department. So please make sure if you have any questions, especially if you're a freshman and you're new to high school athletics, if you have any questions, please reach out to me so I can answer those questions. If you're a sophomore or older, you've been to our meetings in person and you probably have a pretty good idea. Not a lot has changed, but there are some changes every year when it comes to our athletic program. One of the first things I want to remind you of is to participate in any open gym or weightlifting or any kind of training sponsored by the high school. You must have a valid Virginia High School League physical on file. For this physical to be good for this year, it has to be dated May 1st, 2020 or later. If it was dated prior to that date, it is not valid. So if you have any questions about that, you can give us a call in the athletic office. We'll be glad to check. I also wanted to let you guys know that we're so proud of you and we love to put stuff out there on social media about you, that the athletic department has a Twitter account, we have a Facebook account, and we have an Instagram account and a newsletter. And you'll be able to see the links to those on the slide 2 of our PowerPoint. So please make sure that you look for those social media handles and you follow us so we can share in all the good things that you do. There's also a link to an app called the Activity Scheduler. This is very important for you to sign up for text alerts of schedule changes and other important athletic information. If you go to your app store and you type in Activity Scheduler, it will look like a little blue hat. You'll go in and you'll pick out the Blue Ridge District and you'll pick out Franklin County High School, and at that point you can sign up for alerts for all of our athletic schedules. It also keeps parents in the know of when open gyms take place, when actually training and weightlifting take place during the off season. It's free, so it's a great means of communication between the school's athletic department and the parents. Just want to tell you a little bit about the Virginia High School League. Of course, it's been in the news a lot because with the COVID, there have been a lot more updates this year than they normally would have happened. The Virginia High School League governs all of our high school sports and activities. And when I say activities, I mean things like Scholastic Bowl, theater, our newspaper, our robotics team. If we choose to have esports this year, they monitor all of those activities and athletics. Franklin County High School is a member of the Blue Ridge District. We're a member of the Region 6A. We are the biggest high school west of Richmond, and that's why when we travel to regional events, it's generally to the greater Richmond area or east to Chesapeake and Virginia Beach. On the website, you'll find the dates of the Virginia High School League condensed schedule this year. If you go to the athletics tab, you will see the dates of all the sports here on the +1 schedule. So it's different because the seasons are shorter and they're more compressed. So parents, I really need you to take a look at that schedules and information. Spring sport athletes, you will be the hardest hit because you will have to commit to playing past your graduation date. Seniors, your graduation date is scheduled for June 10th, and sports will go on probably at least 2 weeks after that date. So when you're scheduling for your beach week to go celebrate your graduation and you're an athlete, you need to take a look at that schedule and make sure that you schedule it after the end of the athletic season, okay? Just a couple of reminders about the Virginia High School League rules and expectations. You can read through these on the PowerPoint, but I'm just going to hit the highlights a little bit. You have to be a bona fide student in good standing, and Mr. Crutchfield is the person that determines that. So if you get in trouble here at school or you get in trouble in the community, he can actually take away your privilege to represent Franklin County High School in sports. If you're a transfer student from a public high school or a private high school, you need to let your coach know, because you have a certain set of rules and expectations that are a little different than anyone else. You must be an amateur. That means you're not getting paid to participate. You just are doing it for the love of the game. There's a semester rule. In high school athletics, your semester clock starts ticking in the 9th grade. You get 2 semesters in the 9th, 2 in the 10th, 2 in the 11th, and 2 in the 12th, for a grand total of 8 semesters of eligibility. There's an age rule. You can't turn 19 before or on August 1st of your senior year. The scholarship rule is one of the most important rules that every athlete needs to be aware of. In order to be eligible to participate in sports, you must have passed 3 out of 4 classes or 5 blocks in the previous semester, and you must be taking at least 3 out of 4 blocks or 5 credits the semester that you're playing the sport in. For example, if you're trying out for basketball in December, we're going to go back and look at your grades last year. Okay, if you're passing 3 out of 4 or 5 credits, you will be eligible to try out. You must take 3 out of 4 or 5 credits the second semester in order to continue to play. The winter sports break this year will be in January, approximately January 22nd. So all of you that participate in men's and women's basketball, swim, indoor track, or wrestling, your grades will be checked once again on January 22nd. The very most important thing I can emphasize with every athlete or anyone that participates in an activity sponsored by the Virginia High School League is never change your schedule, never drop a class without consulting me first. If you drop below 3 classes, you may lose your eligibility. And seniors, it has happened. A student will go into the second semester and want to leave early, and they'll forget about that rule. Please make sure you tell your guidance counselors that you are an athlete, or you want to be an athlete, and you want to participate in Virginia High School League athletics or activities, so they can contact me prior to changing your class. Very, 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 very important. There are a few of the Franklin County High School rules I'm just going to review really quickly. As far as school attendance, this is the first year that a student who is 100% virtual can try out for a team and can participate in athletics. This is not a homeschool situation. This is a virtual program sponsored by Franklin County Public Schools. Virtual students, you still have to have the same grade requirements. You still have to be passing 3 out of 4 block or 5 credits in order to participate. None of that has changed. You are a student first. That means you're expected to keep your grades up, keep your behavior in check, and you are an athlete second. One of the main rules that parents and students get a lot of confusion on is our travel rule. If we're traveling to an away venue, you must ride the school-provided transportation to that venue unless it's approved by the administration for some other means of transportation. and that would have to be a very extenuating circumstance. If your coach allows you, you can ride back home with your parent from the away venue, but you will still have to check out with your coach. And parents, that's very important to me, because in the age that our children are growing up in, we don't want to dismiss them to meet you in the parking lot. We want to see that you have your child and that your child is safely in your care before the coach lets the student leave. Parents, if you're going to allow your child to ride home with someone other than a parent, this cannot be a boyfriend or girlfriend. This must be another parent. Then you must send a note with that request to me on the day of the event with your signature so I can sign it and give a copy to the head coach and put a copy in the file. If you do not have this note, they cannot ride home with another parent. I'm sorry, I cannot accept emails. It must be a handwritten note. Athletes, if you choose to quit a team, or if you are dismissed from a team, you cannot move to another team or move to out-of-season conditioning for another team until that season has completed. For example, if you're on the wrestling team and you make the team and you decide that you're going to quit the team, you cannot move to indoor track, you cannot move to working for baseball workouts or soccer workouts until that relevant season is over. Equipment. Any school-provided equipment must be returned at the end of the season or must be paid for if not returned if your plan is to participate in any other activity here at Franklin County High School. Also, students and parents, if you have a student obligation, library book, student equipment, any obligation that is not paid, your parking permit will come into jeopardy there. So please make sure that you return all school-related sports equipment and school equipment back to us. Here at Franklin County High School, we have a chain of communication for our athletic department. Parents, students, we realize that participation in sports is a great commitment on everyone's part. It's a great commitment from you at home, from students, and it's a great commitment from our coaching staff to help our students strive to be the best athlete and the best student and the best person they can be. With that being said, parents and athletes, if you're not happy with the way things are going on your individual team, your first line of communication is with that head coach. That person works with you every day. That person knows what is going on with the team. That person knows how you are performing in your tryout. That person knows how you are performing in practices. Parents, if you're not satisfied after meeting with the head coach, then you should set up an appointment to meet with the athletic director. If you're not satisfied with that, then the next line is the principal, who is Mr. Crutchfield, and the next line is the central office staff. Parents, athletes, our school board, our superintendent, and the school administration delegates the head coaches to make the following decisions. Who is on the team? When there is a tryout, coaches have to select players for each team. Sometimes students do not make a team. That is up to each individual head coach on team selection. Also, team strategies. If our coach decides to pass the ball or run the ball, that is his choice. That is team strategy. And the third one, which always comes into play, is playing time. Athletes and parents, just picture a pyramid. And you'll see this pyramid on the PowerPoint. At the bottom of the pyramid, the base is very wide. There is tons of opportunities for playing time for students. There is rec department, there's AAU, there is travel ball. Many, many opportunities for for students to participate. As the pyramid grows up and it grows taller to the point, there is less and less playing time available. You will go up through the middle school, you'll go up to JV, you'll go up to varsity athletics, and even past high school athletics. There is playing time at colleges and into the professional realms. A great high school player may get a Division I scholarship and play at college, but never make the professional leagues. There's simply not enough playing time available for everyone. And we have to trust that our head coaches are giving our students many opportunities in practice to demonstrate their skills and demonstrate their desire to be on the floor at all times. So parents, athletes, we know that when you're not happy with your role, it can happen. Please reach out and talk to your head coach first. Ask about your role. Where do I fit in on this team? If you're on the team, you certainly have a role, but it may not be the role you've envisioned for yourself or for your child. Okay, to participate in any Virginia High School League activity or athletic event, parents and athletes, you must complete the following information. Okay, because you are watching this video, you have found the link to our PowerPoint and concussion training. Once you watch the video and the PowerPoint, you will need to complete the Google form for the parent and the student. This indicates that you have watched the video and reviewed the PowerPoint and you are aware of the rules and regulations. When you are selected for the team, each individual head coach will have a team meeting, and at that meeting you will complete your green form, and that green form is just a reminder of all of your rules and just some reminders of concussion training. It's a front-back form, so you'll need to sign the front and the back in order for this form to be valid, in order for you to participate. There will also be a blue form that coaches will need if you are a driver to an off-site practice or if you are a rider. Most of the time that is only going to be for cross-country, golf, tennis, lacrosse, and soccer teams. Okay, our basketball teams generally do not go off-site to practice. Many of our winter teams just stay on campus, but that is only going to be for teams that go to other locations to practice. So it's a green form, it's a blue form, and it's your Google form online. Parents, athletes, I am so proud of our athletic program. We have state champions. We have many Eagles that are tearing it up in other sports. And when you go through the PowerPoint, you're going to see pictures of some of our athletes that have achieved at a very high level. We have students that commit to play in college. They go to college, they play their sport, they get their education, they come back here, they work in our community. So I'm very, very proud of our athletic program. I want to encourage you to make sure that your athletic physical is valid, that you do follow all of our social media links, read our newsletter, and download the activity scheduler. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My name is Crystal Worley. I'm the athletic director or the assistant principal in charge of the athletic program. My office is in Central Gym, or you can reach out to me, and a lot of you do, through our messages on our social media accounts. Looking forward to seeing everybody. Looking forward truly to get back to playing some sports here this year. I've missed it. So good luck. Get your grades up. Let's keep moving forward, Eagles.
I am a certified athletic trainer here at Franklin County High School. What we do is we help you and your child in the event of an athletic injury. So your child is at practice and something doesn't feel quite right. We can intervene and help figure out what that situation might be, how we can go about fixing it, and if we can't fix it on site, where to send you as far as continued care. Okay, so we are licensed by the Virginia Board of Medicine and the National Athletic Training Association. So we are not your doctor, but we can fill in every now and then. What we are doing primarily is, like I said, we're here to help keep your child playing the sport that they're here for as long as they can, as safely as they can. So again, we can help you with obviously the sprains and strains and concussions, obviously, which we're going to talk about here in a few minutes, and also with different illnesses or anything else that comes up. We encourage you to have your child come and see us first. We will never tell you not to take your child to the doctor. You are their parents, you know better than anyone else how to care for them. What we do ask for is that they come and see us, and that way, hopefully, if they do need to see a doctor or you choose to take them to a doctor, we can help facilitate setting you up with someone who is going to be more sports-minded. Now, this is beneficial in some ways because not only do the sports physicians that we work with, obviously they're sports-minded, but they are going to give us more leniency, if you will, to treat this athlete, treat their medical condition, treat their sprained ankle here with physical therapy and with different modalities, as opposed to a general practitioner who oftentimes is going to be more conservative, which is fine, but that means that if you go to the doctor because you have a sprained ankle and your primary care physician says, I'm sorry, you need to be off for 10 days, and in 3 days you feel better, there's nothing that we can do to get you back playing before that 10 days is over. So in a lot of instances, we can help bridge that gap between not being able to practice because there's a problem and getting you back sooner and as safely without you having that miserable interim where you're feeling better but we can't let you do anything. Does anybody have any questions about that? We have a great network of physicians that we work with. We have a team physician, a team neuropsychologist. We have physical therapists that help us out a lot. We have a dentist. We have pretty much anything that you could need that we can help facilitate care for your child. Again, we're not telling you that you have to see these people. We're saying that we can help you more easily facilitate this if the need arises. So just let us know how we can help, and we'll be more than happy to help get things moving in the right direction. We've already talked about if you take your child to the doctor and they say you're out for whatever amount of time, there's nothing that we can do to override that. So we have to follow the doctor's guidelines. With that also being said, the doctor may give guidelines that we can do physical therapy with your child in the athletic training room. So this means instead of them having to miss school to go to physical therapy because they dislocated their shoulder, we can do that same therapy with them in the athletic training room without you having to take off work and take them to physical therapy and then missing school and being late to practice and all of those things. So again, we can work really well together to take care of your child. Just let us know what we can do to help. In the event that your child does go to the doctor, we're going to need some kind of documentation from that physician. Generally speaking, they'll give you a discharge paper and it says that you probably shouldn't exert yourself for 4 days, or you're cleared to participate, or you can do this activity but not this. That's what we need so that we, A, know who to contact in case we have questions, because you're progressing faster than we think, you know, the doctor may have anticipated, or something's not going quite right. It gives us contact information to be able to call and advocate for your child. Additionally, what that does is it allows us to fill out secondary insurance information for your child. Because your child is participating in athletics at Franklin County High School or Benjamin Franklin Middle School, they are covered by secondary insurance automatically through the school system. What we do is if there's an injury that requires your child to go to the doctor, we get that paperwork back from you. We will fill out a claim form. We will mail it to your house. You will fill out your portion and get it back to us. You can put it in the mail to us. You can email it and scan it. You can drop it off at school, send it with your child, whatever you wish to do, and then we will submit that online on your behalf. This is a secondary policy, so it will not cover any, like, necessarily the remaining balance that you may have, but it should pick up something. I don't know about you, but anything's better than nothing, so we try to really stay on top of that for you guys. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of questions with parents calling and saying, hey, I haven't heard anything from this insurance company, and I have a bill that is due from the doctor's office, and I need to know what to do with this. Unfortunately, they won't talk to us. So what I encourage you to do is there at the top of the insurance form that we send home, there's contact information. Write that down. And then you can call them and ask them any questions that you may have. Because we can call them all day long, but they're not going to tell us any information on your child because of privacy regulations. Any questions about that? Perfect. Concussions. So the last thing we'll get to before we get to concussions, if your child has an emergency medication, such as an inhaler or an EpiPen or glucagon, or they're diabetic or anything like that, that we may need to be aware of, that would require them to need medication while they're at school or playing sports, we need to know about that. We try to catch a lot of it on their physical, but it's not always listed. What we have, when you know, for school, you have to fill out the form for the nurses that allows them to give your student medication at school. This is the same form that you would fill out for the teacher, for the nurses, but ours is pink. So if you've turned this in to your nurse's office this year, then we'll pull it from them. If not, and your child has emergency medication, then we need you to fill this out and to have your physician sign it so that we can give them that medication. Any questions on that? This is only if there is an emergency medication that they need, not if they have asthma, because when they get sick, they automatically get bronchitis. We want, like, exercise-induced things. Obviously, diabetes is not exercise-induced. So I'm going to leave those here if you guys have any questions. Okay, the big topic is obviously concussions. You're going to get a green form. I think, is it still green? Green form. And on one of the sides of that green form, there is a list of a ton of symptoms that could be related to a concussion. A lot of these symptoms could also be related with a lot of different things. So we try to be conservative in a sense, in the fact that, you know, not everything is a concussion. Not every time you hit your head do you have a concussion. But we do try to err on the side of caution. So there's going to be a ton of symptoms, and not every athlete has all of these symptoms, and not every athlete presents the same way. Common symptoms of a concussion are generally headache, dizziness, feeling out of it, and that could be associated with 100 different things other than a concussion. What we have done is the VHSL and the schools have in place, the coaches are all trained in concussion identification. So if your child comes out of a game or out of a practice drill and they say, man, my head really hurts, that coach is supposed to pull them from practice until that we can look at them and decide what we need to do, which is fair. I appreciate the fact that the coach is going to look out and not let them continue to do things. So all of the coaches are on the same page with the way that we handle concussion identification. So what we want to do is make sure that you guys are all on the same page with us. Obviously, again, I've mentioned that there are a lot of different symptoms of concussion, and not all of them present the same way. The big ticket things that I think that you guys need to be aware of, after you review those, if you have any questions, please let me know. But what I think is important right now to know is that you don't have to hit your head to get a concussion. You don't have to lose consciousness to get a concussion. You don't have to get hit so hard that you fall down to get a concussion, because everybody's different. And it has to do with the brain sloshing around in your head and banging up and down against the skull, okay? So what generally students recover pretty quickly from concussion symptoms. A week, 2 weeks, that's pretty average. 25% of students this age take longer than 4 weeks to recover. So what we do is we can manage this here, and if there's a situation where they're not progressing as we think that they should, or their symptoms aren't stabilizing like we think is generally normal, then we're going to get in touch with you and let you know that, hey, we probably need to send them to a doctor. And we'll have a conversation about, do we send them to our sports physician? Do we send them to a neuropsychologist? Do you want to send them to your family physician? All of those are great options. Obviously, if your child has a concussion at a practice or a game, we're going to let you know ahead of time. We're not just going to send them home and be like 3 weeks later, hey, did you know your child has a concussion? Because we want your feedback as well. We want you to be able to call us and say, so they got hit yesterday and they didn't say anything to you, but today they're feeling this, this, and this. That way we can follow up with that. We all know that children aren't necessarily going to tell us or you the whole truth at one time. So with the two pieces, we can generally fit things together pretty well and come up with a solid solution. Again, we do have a lot of doctors and physical therapists that we work with pretty closely regarding concussion management. And we've seen good success with them starting with physical therapy. One of the things that has changed with concussion management that is kind of important to notice is that new research has shown that activity earlier is allowing athletes to recover sooner. So we used to see that athletes, you get a concussion and we're going to do nothing. We're going to completely shut you down and we're not going to do anything for 3-4 days, whatever the situation might be. Now we're seeing that with research that allowing graded cardiovascular activity, so we go for a short run, we just get your heart rate up some, that we're showing increases in or decreases in the time it takes to recover from a concussion. So you're going to see your kid come home potentially and say, well, I got to run today, but I didn't get to do anything else. And that's fine. That doesn't mean that the progression is taking any longer or anything else. It's still going to take as long as it takes, which is generally about 5 days once we start the progression. But we're just able to start them moving sooner to hopefully cut time off of that. When we talk about return to play from a concussion, what that generally looks like is we can start activity when their symptoms stabilize. So what that generally looks like is a day or two. Normally within 24 to 48 hours, the symptoms have kind of settled in and we really have a feeling of how this concussion or how this blow has affected them. At that point, we can begin the light activity. Once they have their symptoms go down, they continue to decrease and we're no longer having symptoms, then we start increasing activity. So we'll go through non-contact practice. We'll go through one-on-one contact drills. Then eventually we'll work to full practice, full contact, no restrictions, and then return to a game. So unfortunately for football, where concussions don't exist, that means that you're probably going to miss that next week's game. And we're working on ways to work with that, but right now that is what it is. So, does anyone have any questions about concussions? Again, everyone concussion-wise looks different. Please let us know if your child is doing something strange that you think we need to know about or that there's a problem. We're here to not only help your child, but to help you, and we're here to advocate for your child. If you guys have any questions at any time or you need anything, please feel free to give us a call. We have a direct line to our office, and I'm going to go ahead and give you that number. Our office number is 540-238-2998. Again, that's 540-238-2998, and that goes directly to our office. So if you guys have any questions about anything or you think of something later tonight that you need to ask, let us know. We're here to help you in any way that we can. You guys have a lot of great resources available athletically through the athletic training program here, and I hope that we don't see you too often because that would mean your child is injured, but I hope that you do take advantage of what we can offer to help protect your child.